Hi, this is Bryce Knorr from Farm Futures Magazine, and welcome to a special edition of The Buzz for Tuesday, August 27, 2013. Today is the first day of the Farm Progress Show, which you can see is hopping and bopping around us. I'm with Paul Bergner, our market analyst. We're going to be discussing a couple things. First of all, results of the 2014 Planting Intentions Survey that we released this morning on the first day of the show. Let's start with corn acres. For corn, we found plantings 94.1 million, down around 3.4% from whatever this year's was, and that's still uncertain. What do you think this corn number says, Paul?
Well, I think it's telling us that soybeans are a little bit stronger priced. That ratio is a little more in favor of soybeans, and the wheat market as well has got some support. It's also factoring in what is expected to be a big corn crop coming out this year, and maybe some adjustment back into normal rotations.
Right, that's one thing farmers have been telling us the past few years. They've said they've wanted to plant corn when we put out these surveys. When all is said and done, the corn profits look pretty good, and they still plant a whole lot of corn. Now for soybeans, we found 78.75 million acres. That's up around 2% from this year, at least from the survey the USDA released in August. So it looks like farmers, again, want to plant more soybeans. Do you think the market is giving them some signals to plant beans?
You know, I think absolutely that market is strong for beans. We've got tight supplies coming off of the 12 crop. Looks like we're going to be tight on carryout in the 13 crop, thus a little bit more incentive to put soybeans out there and get back into those rotations again.
Right now for wheat, we found kind of a mixed bag. Soft red winter wheat acres would be down, but hard red winter wheat acres, spring wheat acres, durum all be up. What do you think that's telling us about a wheat market where overall the seeding's probably be up 57.8 million?
Well, I think a little bit better weather for planting in the plains is going to be helpful there. Does look like this year will be the best planting season we've seen clear back to 2010. So I think that's a place there. And then trying to catch up off of the lower numbers on the spring wheat side from this year seems to be a part of that as well.
Now, of course, we took our survey readings. We started July 20th, finished it up August 5th, so we could report the production numbers for the USDA August crop report. So these numbers are about a month out of date, and certainly a lot has happened in the past couple of weeks. We've seen a big move in the soybean market, also pulling corn higher. What are the dynamics of this market now, and just how real is this weather market?
Well, I think there's some support there, obviously. Those crops are not finished. Being as late as they are, this late heat will definitely have an impact. The other thing that's really starting to show up is it's carried that wheat price number up during that discovery period for crop insurance. I think it'll give us a little support to the wheat numbers as well.
Yeah, certainly, though, the prices for July 2014 wheat substantially below the revenue protection base price guarantee that farmers enjoyed for their 2013 crop. Now, when I took a look at the crop ratings from yesterday, found them off significantly for corn and soybeans. We'll start with corn. My yield dropped 2.2 bushels per acre nationwide when you factor in the crop ratings, late planting, weather for July, and with the weather forecast, that could, if realized, drop production all the way down to 13 billion bushels. That's 500,000 or more below my previous estimate. That sounds bullish, but it could still double carryout if that happens, and that's still an if. What do you think the upside in old crop corn is?
Well, I think that this weather is definitely going to help, but again, we were looking at a really large crop there, as you mentioned. 13.5 billion bushels is a big crop. But we take that down to 13. There's still still an awful lot of corn to move through the system. I'm not sure that there's an awful lot of upside. Once we get above $5, it's just going to be tough to really push that market a lot higher unless we get that early frost or something even bigger yet.
Now, do you think farmers can be making old crop corn sales on this rally with the revenue protection price still way above the market?
Well, I think those bushels that we don't have that protection, we need to go ahead and get those done. The other thing is I like to get some of that sold anyway, just to make sure that it's got a place to go, and I've got that protection from the revenue protection. I don't want to be out there and exposed once harvest is completed.
Yeah, I guess the key there is the farmers just have to be willing to settle for that price, make sure they have the bushels to back it up with. Now for corn, or for soybeans rather, it found yields dropping 0.8 of a bushel this week down to 40.7 bushels per acre. That had caused a dramatic reduction, 150 million bushels below USDA's August forecast. I'm all the way down to 3.1 billion bushels. If it happens, keep carry out tight for another year. Basically no change in carry out, and we indicate perhaps some substantial upside in 2013 November soybeans. We've started certainly to get there, got up to 13.98 on Monday. How far do you think the soybean market has, Paul?
You know, if it continues to shrink the crop the way it looks like it's going, those numbers can get out there, something similar to what we saw a year ago. We're looking at awfully tight. We're going to have to get into that same position that we did last year where we start to ration that supply, and it's going to take numbers up in the close to 15 to make that even start to happen.
Of course, this rally takes place at a time when Brazilian producers are planning or making their final plans, so it'll increase acreage down there. That's one thing the market's, I think, looking at for 2014. That's what I'm talking about, is next year's crop prices and crop margins. Seeing a big discount with that November 2014 to the 2013 year contracts, making it difficult to make any sales in next year's crop. But the 2014 corn looking a little bit better. Prices around 5 1/4, looking like you can lock in a profit there. Not a big one, but still a profit. What I've been telling producers at my seminars this week is there seems to be a lot more downside in the corn market there than there is in soybeans. What do you think about that, Paul?
I would agree with you. I think there's still a better chance to get a big corn crop this fall. And then once we have that in the bins, if it looks like there's an opportunity, we'll see a lot more acres of corn go in than maybe what we're seeing today. If that price comes up for us coming into the spring, I'd be a little bit hesitant to leave myself exposed for all of my bushels coming into the winter.
And finally, quickly for wheat, the revenue protection base price for winter wheat being set now, so really not too much to do there other than perhaps making a few sales of the uninsured bushels. What about the old crop 2013 wheat? Time to wrap up and just get rid of that, Paul?
You know, I'm a believer in that. I think as the corn comes to the market, the feed use on the wheat side is going to go away, and really, it is not a bad place to be sold out at really $7 Kansas City and a little below that Chicago. But yeah, now's a good time to go ahead and move the rest of that wheat, get that priced, and get out of the market. Keep a few gambling stocks if you really have an expectation you're going to see a higher price somewhere, but it's going to take something significant on the corn side to make that happen.
And we'll be here through Thursday, and then Paul's headed back to Nebraska in a couple of weeks. You do it all over again, Paul, without me. What's on store for Husker Harvest Days?
Well, it's going to be a busy week again. We'll be out there talking about where these prices are going to go. If it changes as much in the next 2 weeks as it has in the last 2 weeks, I'll be telling maybe a whole different story. So it'll be worth coming and seeing us in Nebraska.
Well, Paul will be reporting from Nebraska in 2 weeks, and we'll be talking to him then. This is Bryce Knorr. We'll see you next time on the next edition of The Buzz.